everyone, it's Lauren from Love Renovate. Thank you to all of you who have watched our videos so far. We hope you find them helpful. If you want to see some more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified of any that we do in the future. This week we're going to be chatting all about the 6 stages of planning any renovation. We cannot emphasise enough how important planning is, from keeping tight control of your costs to making sure that you get everything from your renovation that you would have hoped, to also just making sure the whole process is as stress-free and as smooth as possible. So spending a lot of time at the start planning will just make the whole process much easier for you as you go through. So the first thing that we recommend that you do is write your wish list of everything you want out of your renovation. So before you go and speak to any architect or builder, have a really clear view of everything that's important to you and your family. So this may be you're doing an extension and you want the big open plan living sociable space. It could be that you're really desperate for a utility room or a play area. If you're doing some work to your bedroom, you might want an ensuite or walk-in wardrobe. Just be really, really clear of what you want out of it. It's also at this stage worth thinking about future-proofing your home. So what would you like maybe in a few years' time, making sure you kind of think about how your home will work with you as you grow as a family. It's also worth considering if you're going to want to sell on your house in a few years' time, what would be important to potential buyers. So really write down this list of everything that you want to get out of your renovation. The second thing to think about is the high level cost. Now you will not be able to do a detailed cost at this stage. You need the plans for those and the structural calculations before you can do anything detailed. But at this stage it's really important to get a high level view, to go into the project to understand how much it's actually going to cost. A lot of people think renovations are going to be cheaper than they actually are. So it's good to make sure you have a real expectation of how much it could potentially cost you. We have an extension cost calculator on Love Renovate. It's really simple to use. It just takes you a few minutes, and you can add in what type of project you're doing. If it's a loft conversion extension, are you adding in a kitchen or bathroom, what the potential size is going to be, and where you're based in the UK. All those will inform the overall high level cost. But what it will do is give you a view, is it something you want to do now? Do you want to break it up in stages? So you might decide, actually, I'll do the loft conversion this year, an extension in 2-3 years' time. Or is it something you want to put off until you've got the funds to cover the whole cost? So it's really important you go into it knowing how much it roughly could cost, and before you go and speak to any professional. So the third thing to do is find a professional to work with and who can help with your designs and any of your applications, or if you want the project managed. The person you speak to will change depending on what your renovation is. So for example, if you're wanting to do a dormer loft conversion, you may just want to go and speak to a loft conversion specialist. That's what they do. They're really experienced. That might be the easiest route for you. It could be if you're just taking down an internal remodel, you're knocking down walls, you're knocking down a chimney breast, you might just think, I'll go and speak to a structural engineer and they can work with the builder, and you've got a clear idea of what you want. That's the best route for you. If you're doing a bigger project, such as like a larger extension, you need design ideas, then an architect is probably the route for you. But at this stage, doing your research, finding a few to shortlist and to speak to based on what type of projects they cover, the scale of the projects, if they've done a lot like yours in the past. Looking at their previous projects, do you like their style, do you like the work that they've done? And then also chatting to them, do you have a good rapport, do you think you're going to work together? And also getting a quote for the work that they're going to do for you, how much is it going to cost and what can they help you with? So finding that person is so important. Also, if you want to speak to some people that you've worked with in the past, that also can be really helpful at that stage. So then when you've got your professional that you're ready to work with, the fourth stage in the process is submitting any applications. Now again, these applications will change depending on what your project is, but the first one to consider is the planning application. Now this won't impact you if you're doing an internal remodel, it's very unlikely. Also, if you're doing something like a loft conversion or a small extension, it may be in your area where you live, in your local authority, that might be within permitted development, in which case you wouldn't go through the planning application process, but it is advisable to get a lawful development certificate to ensure that your work has been carried out lawfully and prove that you didn't need planning. However, if you're doing something on a larger scale, or it could be the area you live in, such as a conservation area, then you will need to go ahead and apply for a planning application. So your professional or architect will be able to help you with this. They will have done some design ideas for you if you need help with that, and then they will do the planning application drawings to submit on your behalf, and most of the time they will do it for you unless you want to do it yourself, but it's advised to get somebody that's skilled with the local authority and used to working with them as well, and a good idea for designs. So that's the first thing to look at. The second one, which will apply to any project if you're doing anything structural, is the building control application. So your designer or architect will work together with a structural engineer and pull together the drawings for that submission. The structural engineer will do the calculations, the measured calculations that go into that document, and those are so important. Building control, you have to do that. It cannot be avoided. And also those drawings are actually really important for the builder to give you an accurate quote on as well, and those are the ones that they will want to see. And then there are other applications. For example, you may have, if you've got a manhole cover, if you're doing an extension, if you're doing any work near the public sewer, then you'll need a build over agreement. In England and Wales, if you're doing work, for example, a loft conversion or extension, or removing a chimney breast that's near the party wall, then you'll need to apply for a party wall agreement. Again, your architect or professional will be able to steer you on anything that's relevant to your project or your property itself that you will need to apply for. So that's the next thing. So once you've got all the plans together, then you can do all of the applications that you need and give yourself plenty of time for those. So the fifth thing in the process is to find your builder. Now we say this is the fifth thing, however I do recommend that you do start getting a short list of builders together early in the process because they are so busy right now. So when you're starting to speak to architects, also get recommendations of local builders from family, friends, from the architect, or also just knocking on people in your neighbourhood that they've maybe done a large renovation, you like the look of it, just to get a short list together. You can speak to the builder at that stage and just get a feel for what their lead times are like and what kind of projects they work on. Now, the builder won't be able to give you an accurate quote until you've got all the plans and calculations together. But early on, you will be able to get a feel for who is available and ones that you kind of like chatting to, you get a good feel for. So once you've got all your plans, then you can tender to the builders. We recommend that you do get about 5 to come back with some quotes. And then once you've done your due diligence, find the one that you want to work with, then you can sign the contract. So then you've got a bit of time. You likely will have a bit of time anyway before the builder can actually start. So we recommend the 6th step to do is then start really getting together a list of all the products, choosing everything you want to finish your renovation with. It's likely that early on in the process you started Pinterest boards, you've got ideas from Instagram, so you've already got good ideas. But at this stage you want to go to kitchen showrooms, you want to look at bathroom products, flooring, things like the light switches, skirting, just get a really good idea for all the products that you are wanting to have in your home. And it might be you speak to the builder and find out what they can source for you or anything they can get cheaper. But spending a lot of time looking at the products that you're going to use is so important. It means that when the builder actually does start and they're ready to install your kitchen, you're not kind of chasing your tail, kind of making rush decisions. You'll also find out the lead times from things like the window companies, kitchens, how long it's going to take. So having that well planned will mean when the builder is actually starting, you've got a smooth process and you've got everything ordered and you've already chosen everything. We hope you found that useful. If you want any more tips or advice, then do head over to loverenovate.co.uk.